Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in a moment that has left many Americans outraged, especially the veterans, the commander-in-chief, we know who that is under fire for skipping the dignified transfer of 4 U.S. soldiers who tragically lost their lives during a training exercise in Lithuania. So instead of standing with grieving families, he chose to attend a golf tournament and a dinner, sending a clear message about where his priorities lie. For many, this wasn't just a scheduling conflict. It was a slap in the face to those who've worn the uniform and paid the ultimate price. Veterans from across the country are speaking out angrily, emotionally, and unapologetically, and honestly, who can blame them? So in this video, I have gathered powerful clips and first-hand reactions that you have to see. These voices deserve to be heard, so stick around until the end. I'll give my own 2 cents at the end of this video. Please watch this.
Okay, vets, he didn't show up. He was playing golf as our brothers were brought back dead.
So not only has the Trump administration and Trump himself not acknowledged our 4 soldiers that died in a training exercise in Lithuania, he skipped their ceremony to go golfing in Florida. But yet, Biden got his ass chewed out in the media back in 2021 because he checked his watch. He glanced at his watch to check the time during a ceremony for 13 service members. But that wasn't okay. But nobody's talking about the fact that Trump would rather go golfing with rich executives or corporate workers and business people than to attend a ceremony for our 4 fallen soldiers. Standard, y'all.
I thought all of his supporters were hooting and hollering that Donald J. Trump is for the soldiers. He's for our military. We can't expect not 1 ounce of dignity or respect from a man who does not give 2 flying fucks about anybody of this country except his own pockets and the pockets of his crony billionaires. And all at the same time that he decides that he does not want to attend the dignified transfer of these U.S. soldiers, he is also gutting the Department of Veterans Affairs. Donald Trump, rather than attend the dignified transfer of 4 U.S. Army soldiers who were unalived on a training mission in Lithuania, flew to Florida to watch a Saudi-funded LIV golf tournament at his own course and later join a dinner reception there. So you're telling me that he can't take 1 hour out of his time to go and see these soldiers home? It is reported that it is unclear who would be attending the transfer at Delaware's Dover Air Base, as the White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Daily Beast. And if you think sending DUI, drunken muckin' Pete Hegseth to go over there and do his job, you better think again, because I think he's probably going to be too inebriated to attend. And even through all this, I am truly grateful for the country of Lithuania and their people in the government for showing and bidding farewell to these soldiers by showing them respect and dignity. And I salute Lithuania at this point. It is truly embarrassing that our U.S. soldiers are being memorialized by another country because our sitting president refuses to do it. And even despite what Donald J. Trump is doing in the world and putting tariffs on all these countries and starting trade wars with our allies, the government of Lithuania said that Americans are our loyal allies and friends. Our nation today expresses its condolences, respect, and gratitude to the entire American people. But do you think this pump is flying fucks? He does not. We are an embarrassment. We are the laughing stock of the world. And our 4 fallen soldiers deserve better than that. Our military deserve better than that. Our veterans deserve better than this.
I think it's safe to say by now that Donald Trump hates veterans, right? I think there's enough evidence that we can conclude that Donald Trump doesn't like veterans. He has something against people who serve for our country, but he will only use them as a prop when it benefits him. He called veterans suckers and losers. He insulted people like John McCain and other POWs. He's cutting funding to the Veterans Affairs. He's laying off thousands and thousands of veterans who work for the government. He does not like veterans. But this should really piss you off, okay? The 4 veterans that died in Lithuania, there is a dignified transfer, and that happens at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. It is customary when something like this happens for the president to attend those transfers, as so many presidents have. And Donald Trump did do this during his first term. He did do it during his first term. But this time, he is not going to be doing it for this time. Instead, he will be flying to Miami to attend a golf tournament. So he's crashing the economy, and he doesn't care about what you think. And instead of going to see dead soldiers in Delaware, he is going to be at a golf tournament in Miami. That is the timeline in which we live.
The last few days have been nothing short of insane. Obviously, the stock market, so it's about 10 after 9 Friday morning, 9 Pacific time. The stock market fell 1,600 points yesterday, and as we speak, it's down 1,400 points. The Dow has slipped below 40,000 for the first time in a long time. Trump was asked yesterday as he got on the plane what he thinks about this. He responded with, "Things are going well." Also, the 4 Lithuanian or the 4 U.S. soldiers in Lithuania are all unalived. And it doesn't seem to matter to Trump. We haven't really heard anything about it. But what we do know is this. Trump is in bed with the Saudis on this live golf league. And instead of receiving the bodies of these 4 Lithuanian soldiers, known as a dignified transfer, he has chosen to have a dinner with these pro golfers and his Saudi buddies. So this is our pro-military president who is just out grifting, making money for himself. When is enough already? This guy is a disgrace to the office. He's fucking pathetic.
So where were you, MAGA, now that the president of the United States was not there for the dignified transfer of 4 soldiers who passed? The guy was playing golf in a Saudi Arabian tournament as one of his golf resorts. The president of Lithuania, people like this were crying when the dignified transfer started in Lithuania. And what was your president? Fucking 5-time draft dodger, 34-time felon, 6-time bankruptcy. He was playing golf. And what were you doing? Nothing, because you didn't fuck. Because your cold leader didn't. Therefore, you didn't either. You just make some random mental gymnastics to excuse his fucking presence, his lack of presence, and his lack of respect. Because your leader is more important than your nation. And that is called fascism. And if you think I'm wrong, look it up. I'll wait. And don't even try to use the 13 fallen from Abbey Gate as an excuse to say, well, Biden was watching his clock. You can say what the fuck you want. At least he was there. He didn't go play golf. Besides, whataboutism is not a answer. So from the bottom of my heart, I tell you this as a veteran, as a U.S. citizen, as a natural-born citizen, and as a person who actually talking about. I'm Alex. This is my rant, and I'm out.
What's good, people? So, unfortunately, the other day in Lithuania, 4 brave young soldiers were unalived during a training exercise. Starting from the left is Army Private First Class Dante Taitano, Army Sergeant Edvin Franco, Army Sergeant Jose Duenes, and Army Staff Sergeant Troy Knutson. all were tragically unalived when their vehicle sunk into a mud pit, like I said, in Lithuania. And where were all of the important people during the ceremony that were dignitaries of those countries? They were right there for the ceremony, right? Thousands of people attended while their hearses drove up and down the street. And where was our commander-in-chief, you might ask? Oh, right. Because he is such an amazing leader. He cares so deeply for our soldiers, our army, right? Wait. No. I think he took a rain check on that one. He decided that fine dining and going to an event at his golf course was more important than celebrating the lives of these amazing, brave humans. Rest in peace. Fuck Donald Trump.
As an Army veteran, I want to ensure that my 4 brothers who were unalived in Lithuania receive the attention that they deserve. They deserve to be memorialized since our current sitting president refuses to do so. I need everybody to watch this video to the end and please share as much as possible to keep these 4 soldiers' legacy alive. 4 soldiers that were found unalived in Lithuania were identified, and they were all under the age of 29 years of age. Sergeant Jose Duenes Jr., 25 years old, of Joliet, Illinois. Sergeant Edvin F. Franco, 25 years old, of Glendale, California. PFC Dante D. Titano, 21 years old, of Dededo, Guam. And Staff Sergeant Troy S. Knutson Collins, 28 years old, of Battle Creek, Michigan. May you all rest in eternal peace and know that as veterans, we have your watch. Thank you for your honorable service to this country. And thank you to Lithuania and its government and the people for paying respect to these fallen soldiers.
Okay, so let's talk about this because not a lot of people are talking about this, and honestly, I don't know why. So, as you all know, 4 American heroes who died in a training exercise in Lithuania were returned to US soil just the day before yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So, their tragic deaths shook their families because, as you all know, this was an accident, and fellow service members, it surprised everyone, it shook everybody, and people around the world too. And what has sparked even more outrage, deep personal outrage, is that what really happened, or rather didn't happen, when their remains came home. They were even before they were even returned, these brave soldiers received a massive heartfelt send-off by the Lithuanian government, and I mean massive. 4 military honors, flags, salutes, dignitaries in attendance. A small allied nation went above and beyond to honor, the fallen soldiers. Now, here's the part that's really pissing people off. While Lithuania was honoring these heroes, the commander-in-chief of the United States was playing golf. the contrast is not just disturbing, it's heartbreaking. Let's talk about what this really means actually. When a service member dies while on duty, especially overseas, it's customary and expected that the President of the United States, the highest authority in the chain of command, be present or represented at the dignified transfer of their remains. It's not just a formality, it's an act of respect. It's a message to the families and to the nation that the sacrifices of the country, the military, are not taken for granted, that their lives meant something, that you honor them not just in words but in presence, in action, and yet he didn't show up. No motorcade, no salutes from him, no moment of silence from him, of course. Instead, reports from multiple media outlets, BBC, Fox News, confirmed that the president spent the day attending a golf tournament and later joined a dinner, I think, related to the event. Not a classified briefing, not a national emergency golf. Okay, so the optics are devastating, and more than that, they are painful, especially to the families of the, fallen soldiers. Imagine this: you get the knock at the door, right? You hear the words, no military family ever wants to hear this. Your son, daughter, brother, sister, husband, wife gone, during a training mission in a foreign land. Then after the heartbreak, after the tears and shock, you wait for their bodies to return home. And when that plane touches down a U.S. soil, you expect the nation to stand still in that moment with you, of course, because the commander-in-chief, the president, is there, obviously. You expect dignity, you expect respect, you expect your president, the man who sent your loved ones out there, to be there too, right? But he wasn't, because something else was more important that day. I should say, this isn't about politics, this is about decency. Please get me, okay? So the commander-in-chief has a moral and symbolic duty to show up for the troops, especially in their final return. It's part of the sacred contract between the state and those who serve. We ask these men and women to risk their lives for the security of the nation. At least the least you can owe them is honor. You honor them in remembrance, you honor their families, and full presence in their deepest time of grief. No one's asking for speeches or fanfare, just being present is enough, just empathy. But that's what was missing, empathy from the commander-in-chief, okay? Yeah, the commander-in-chief was not grieving with the families, not a single acknowledgement in person, not direct message to the nation until maybe it will be there, because the outrage started on social media. Meanwhile, the Lithuanian government showed the US, the deceased soldiers, much respect, I can say, and showed the world that this is how it should be done. They treated these soldiers as if they were their very own soldiers. Their president, top military officials, and citizens all turned out in respect. It was how can I put it? It was moving, and to many it was humbling and even embarrassing to the foreign countries, the US, people. This was embarrassing. Imagine another country doing what your own country cannot do for your deceased soldiers. Okay, that speaks volumes. The families of these 4 soldiers will never be the same after this. They have to live with the loss of for the rest of their lives. But what adds to the pain is the feeling that their loved ones weren't given the dignity they deserved by their leader, not from the country they saved, but from the man at the top. This moment could have been handled with humanity. It could have been an opportunity to unite the country in mourning and gratitude. Instead, it became a moment of oh no. And there's the truth. This wasn't just an oversight, it was a choice that speaks character, a choice that reflects priorities, a choice that many veterans and citizens alike are finding impossible to forgive. The backlash from the veteran community has been swift, from retired generals to young service members, and just from the community, from people, normal people like you and me. Voices are rising in anger and disbelief, not because they expect perfection from leaders, but because they expect presence. And when you're the president, presence isn't optional, it's your duty. Even across the aisle, political commentators have noted how demanding this is, not just politically, but morally. When CNN and Fox News both run headlines questioning the president's judgment on the issue, you know it's not just partisanship, yes. It's a matter of national dignity, and yet mainstream coverage of this incident has been minimal. Sure, it's there in the reports. BBC, AP News both covered the dignified transfer and the Lithuanian ceremony, but there is a noticeable lack of discussion, a lack of outrage from the media class, which begs the question, why aren't more people talking about this? It's because, we've become numb to disappointments, or it's because we're afraid to criticize leadership when it counts the most. Either way, silence is not the answer, because the world is watching, our allies, our enemies, and most importantly, our people, the people of the US, the families, the troops, the voters, and here's where this is landing. Unfortunately, this is what, the majority of the US people voted for, whether you support the administration or not. This moment is a reflection of that choice. It's a moment that will be remembered, not because of what was said, but because of who wasn't there when it mattered. So to the government of Lithuania, thank you for your honoring the heroes of the United States, and their leaders. I can say your dignity, your ceremony, your respect, it meant more than you probably would ever know. And to the families of those brave soldiers, our hearts are with you. The nation mourns with you, even if it's even if its leader did not show it. Your sons and daughters served with courage. Your sons, they were all men. They died in uniform, and they deserved so much more than silence. The world saw what happened, and whether or not the media keeps this in the headlines, we will remember, of course. So with that, I'll leave the floor to you, all of you. What are your thoughts on this? Was this a failure of leadership? Was this disrespect, or just poor judgment? And what would be done to make this right? What do you think the president should do to make this right? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let's have a real conversation about what honor, duty, and leadership should look like. And as always, please stay peaceful, and make sure you subscribe to this channel, and please engage on this video. I'll see you in my next video.